Ben from Stones here, folks, today with my own personal Coleman Powerhouse 414 dual fuel stove.
Hit it.
I love this stove because you can run it on shellite, you can run it on unleaded, it burns hot no matter what the conditions are, and I don't need to carry a gas bottle. Now, I used this stove on a recent long trip I did, so 20,000 kilometers. This is what I cooked on while I was traveling. I use this now to move away from carrying a gas bottle. So you might look at this and think it's big, but bear with me for a second. So it weighs about 6 kilos, about 55 centimeters in length, about 35 centimeters this way at the widest point at the base here, and about 16 centimeters high. And when this is folded open, it's about 45 centimeters to the top here. So it's not a small stove in comparison to a lot of gas stoves, but I don't have to use a gas bottle. I can pull this, it's got a little carry handle here, this slides in the back of my car. I can pull this out of the car, I can put it on a table like this, and I can set it up and use it. I don't need to attach a gas bottle or anything. It runs off unleaded or shellite fuel, preferably shellite, which this is the Digger's shellite. You can pick up various brands of this all across the country. I had no problems finding this, and in the 4 months that I traveled, I don't reckon I would have used more than 8 bottles of that. I think I came home with some even. I wasn't using it every day though. So easy to come across. So all I carried was this, and I had a small box on the roof with a few of these backed up in it, and I can keep some of this actually inside the stove here. So I'm only carrying small amounts of small amounts of fuel inside the car. So to set this up, plonk it down on the table. There's feet on the bottom here, so you could put it on a stove stand or whatever, so it's not directly on the table. There is a bit of an air gap underneath there. Now to set this up, it's easy. I'll open this up and also show you what comes with the stove when you get it. So before we fold these wings out here, just lift this up. With the stove, you get a little funnel here that you use to fill the fuel tank, which I'll show you a bit on shortly. User manual there. And this is the fuel tank that tucks in here. Now, when I travel, I put this in a little bag just to stop it rattling around in here. But take that out before you fold these wings out, because these wings tend to impede this being able to lift up. Now, these wings here fold out, and these metal sort of hoops or wire here just tuck in a little cutout on the side there. So tuck that in each side, and that's the stove set up, ready to go apart from the fuel. So we've got cooking space here of just under 50 centimeters right at the very rear here, and that tapers out to just under 70 centimeters at the front. So in terms of a burner plate to fit on here, because the burner plate's not going to go right to the back, a burner plate up to about 50 centimeters in length will fit pretty comfortably on here. Now to set this up further, we need to prep the fuel tank first. So I'll just move this aside and grab the fuel tank over. So this is all serviceable. So all the parts here are replaceable. So if you do happen to use dirty fuel or use unleaded a bit more often, these parts can get clogged up, but you can take all this apart and clean it. I've just used shellite in this and I've got no problems with it so far. So it's still burning really well. Clean fuel means you don't get all the gunk and stuff build up inside the generator here, because basically the fuel comes from here, runs through here into the burner in the stove. If that fuel's dirty, this slowly sort of builds up with soot and gunk and stuff, and you need to clean it out. Now, filling the stove, there is actually some fuel in here at the moment, but you can tip the stove on the side like this. There's actually a little sort of notch here that allows it to sit upright like that, and undo the filler valve here. You'll hear it hiss a little bit. You can then use the funnel here that comes with the stove. This has got a little sort of, I'm not sure what you call it, valve type arrangement in here, which helps when you fill it, it stops splashing around, and it helps avoid it overfilling. So it will stop at a point at which it reaches sort of the bottom of that little lip there and won't overfill the fuel inside the fuel tank here, so you don't end up with spillage. This fits neatly inside here. They say to put it in and give it a quarter of a turn. I could never really work out why they did that, but I just kind of filled it till I could just see a little bit of fuel in the bottom there. To be honest, you could fit 1.5 of those just about in there anyway, so I pretty much just emptied one of these, a whole litre of those inside there pretty easily. So I'm not sure what the actual capacity is of this, but Coleman do state that 1.6 litres of shellite gives you about 2.5 litres of burn time, so I suspect that the total capacity in here is about 1.6 litres, and they've just let that burn till it empties out. So once you put that in there and filled it up, it's got a bit of a filter in the bottom there. The white stuff is a bit of a filter to make sure you don't get gunk in there. Seal this up again, and then we need to pressurise the stove here. So once we've done that up, we then make sure this is turned off. We don't want to turn that on now. If we turn that on, fuel will start to spurt out the jet at the end here. So make sure that's off. Don't worry about this valve. We'll talk about that in a sec. This here is the little the pump that we use to pump pressure into the fuel canister here. There's a little hole in the end that we need to seal with our finger as we pull it out. So we pull it out, seal the end with our finger, and we're pushing air into it. Now we do this probably, depending on how full the tank is, sort of 30 to 50 times. You can feel it getting firmer the more you pump it. So this is quite empty, this tank here at the moment, so I'm probably going to do it quite a number of times to make sure that there's enough pressure in the fuel tank to efficiently push the fuel out into the burner. I can feel pressure building up in there now, but I'll probably pump that probably 60 to 70 times, but there literally is probably about this much fuel in here, so it's quite empty. But Coleman's recommendation from when the fuel tank is full to pump it around about 30 times. You can always adjust it a bit later. You might find after you've used it for a while that the flame dies down a little bit. You just need to then pump a little bit of extra air in here as you go. You just got to be careful as you do that. Make sure you're nice and steady. Now that is ready to go. So we're good to light here now. So what we need to do is grab some matches. Now this all operates through lighting this burner first. You can't use this burner without this burner being on. So this one lights, and then when we want to turn this one on, there is a knob on the end here that opens up the second burner, and we then need to light this one with a match as well. But that is fed through this hose through the middle here from the first burner. So we always light this one first. So if you're only burning it on one side, this is the side you're going to be burning it on. I'm just going to spin this around so that I've got a bit of wind protection here while I use the match. Now, we need to light the match and then get the gas flowing in. So if we come back to the knob here, we've got to have this off while we light the match. And this lever here, we turn upwards. I don't exactly know what that does, but I'm assuming it changes the flow of the gas through the generator and into the burner, a bit like priming or using a choke on an engine. We'll light this, and hopefully that stays alight. And then they say to turn the knob at least 2 full turns, but I find that you don't need to do that. That's now lit there now. So usually that we can see there's a bit of a yellow flame there at the moment. If there's a yellow flame for a long time, that means there's too much fuel in the burner. You want to turn it off, let it burn out, and start again. Let that sit for a while, because what's happening at the moment is that flame is heating up the generator, this hose that's feeding across the top of the burner, and that's then turning that fuel, or that liquid fuel, into a gas. And once it turns into a gas, we can see that burning down now, and it's just gone to a blue flame there now. So that's now ready to cook, and we can turn this right up if we like. You can hear that roaring away. Don't turn it up too early because it will flare. If there's flaring and there's lots of yellow flame still, just turn it off, let it burn out, and start again. This is probably the biggest difference between the gas stove and this one, is that lighting it is a little bit more finicky than a gas stove where you just turn it on and light it. You need to prime this. But that's now going to burn even in windy, cold conditions. This doesn't get affected by the cold. You can pump more pressure into this fuel tank here, and that's always going to burn nice and hot there. I never had a problem in any conditions with that burning nice and hot. I can feel heat coming off that now. These are a 9,000 and an 8,000 BTU burner. So they're not as hot as some of the gas burners, but like I said, they just burn in this condition all the time. And you can get a good simmer on this as well. I don't know if you can see it, but you can turn that down. You can actually turn it off temporarily and back on, because fuel remains in the system for a bit longer. So let's turn right down there now, and I can put my hand over that close to it, but I certainly wouldn't want to do that when I've got it turned up there. It's now feeling much hotter, sort of this far above. And once this is burned and all warmed up and the flame's gone blue, we can now flick this little knob here back down to the pointing downwards, and that's now ready to go. If we leave it up, it's a bit like letting too much fuel go through all the time. It's burning a little bit too rich, so this just helps it burn a bit more efficiently. So that's now ready to cook on that side there. If you want both burners though, we need to grab a second match and be prepared with the burner at this side here. It doesn't light automatically, so wind's just picked up, so hopefully this match stays alight. We'll turn the other side here, and that's now lit as well. Now you will need to make sure that when you light this side, this one is turned up reasonably high. If you've got that down too low, I found there's not enough pressure to get through to this side to light this side as well. So you need to make sure that one's turned up, and then this one lights too. Now this one doesn't burn as hot as this one, 8,000 BTU, 9,000 BTU. So this side here is going to be the hot spot of your barbecue if you've got a hot plate on there. Now turning them off, starting with this side here, come to the knob on the end here and twist that around to turn it off. Same over here. If you want to turn this one on, we're just going to turn this around. I will mention before I turn it off, if you've been cooking something for a long time and that flame's going down and you're turning up and not much is happening, you need to put more pressure in the fuel canister here. So just a few more pumps here. Just being really careful when you do this. You don't want to knock the fuel tank off. So a few extra pumps just to give it a bit more pressure, make sure it burns. You'll find you need to do that more the lower the tank is. Now turning it off, when we turn this off, it's not going to go out straight away. We've turned that down, but there's still fuel in the system here that needs to be burnt out. So that flame has gone right down, but it's still just flickering away in there. And it'll do that for a little while, and then you get a bit of a smell of shellite, and then it'll flicker out and it'll stay hot for a while as well after that. So that's how you use the Powerhouse dual fuel stove from Coleman. I love it because I don't have to worry about gas bottles. I can just buy these for refills. Hardware shops, camping shops, you can find this pretty readily all around Australia when I traveled. And as I mentioned, I think I used about 8 of those in a 4-month trip. Coleman say 1.6 litres gets you 2.5 hours of burn time. It's very dependent on the conditions you're using it in, how long it takes to prime it. You might waste a little bit of fuel if you sort of flood it at some stage and use a bit of extra fuel. So it's a bit of an arbitrary measure there, but I found it to be no less efficient or more expensive than gas is, but it's probably easier to find that fuel, and you can just set this up anywhere. I don't have to worry about a gas bottle down the side. I don't have to worry about leaks or anything as well. I love my Coleman Powerhouse dual fuel stove. I've switched to it. I'm going to keep using it. I can't see myself ever going back to gas. It's just a really simple way to set it up, a way to cook in the campsite. Pack up's easy too. You just need to wait for this to cool down. I won't pack it up now. Once it's packed up, fold these in, fold this up, put your your fuel tank in there. As I said, I use a little cotton bag to put it in. You can also fit one of these in. They'll fit down the side there. Maybe put that in the cotton bag as well. And I usually keep a box of matches or a flint in there as well, so you can store a few things inside the stove. An awesome stove. They've been around for a long time. Check them out online at snowies.com.au, where you'll find them at our lowest prices every day. If you do have any questions for me, let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for our latest and greatest information, or check out some other cool Coleman products like these ones down here.